Recently, I've been wanting to go for higher rounds in just any zombies map, really. I was really thinking maybe Origins, the Rise and the Rockets, Zetsubo no Shima, it doesn't really matter. I just felt like I wanted to go for high rounds, and I'm thinking, when am I going to have some time to do this? And I finally realized, hey, I got some time this day. And then I go put the headset on, grab my controller, get the map loaded up, and then I realize, why the heck do I want to go for high rounds? Why am I going to spend 5 or 7 or maybe even 10 hours going for high rounds? What is going to make me want to do that? I mean, I can't think of a single reason why. I mean, if I tried to stream it, then I don't know, maybe I'll get subscribers, but I mean, so many people have already done that, so why would someone subscribe to me for doing that? And this is just something I've realized, that I cannot think of a single reason why I would want to go for high rounds, except for maybe getting XP. That's the only reason I can think of it, and that is not a good enough reason for me personally. And this is something I've realized is a problem for a while now, because the last time I actually really wanted to go for high rounds was back in Black Ops 2, and the sole reason I wanted to do that was to beat somebody else's high rounds, but that doesn't do it for me. I mean, I already know people have already reached the cap inside Black Ops 3 where it's 255, and I don't know about the other games, but I mean, you can't really beat that, and I don't even want to spend like 20 hours getting to that round anyway, so why am I even going to do this? And this is something that's really been annoying, that it just doesn't give you a reason to go for higher rounds. And this brings me to Black Ops 4, because I was thinking, what if they actually gave you some sort of incentive to go for these higher rounds? They can do a ton of different things. Maybe you could have some dynamic map that changes while you go for higher rounds, maybe day and night. This is something I've actually talked about in a previous video, but it'd be really cool. It could just feel like time is passing instead of just like it's cloudy the entire time or something like that. I think it would just add a little bit more dynamic features to it, but that's the least that they can do. Something I actually want to see is, rather we can have something special happen to the game, or even you could just give you something special while you're playing it. And I'm not just talking about XP or maybe some gobblegums. That those would be cool to get those for getting to higher rounds. Like, what if once you got to round 50, it'd give you like 3 perkaholics, 3 shopping frees or something like that. That would be really cool, and I think I would like that a lot. And same thing with XP. Maybe the first time you get to round 50, it gives you this like 1,000,000 XP or something like that, and then of course it will give you XP the other times you get to round 50, but it wouldn't be 1,000,000. Maybe it'd be something a lot less, because I mean, that's a lot to give you for going for 50 every single time. But still, things like that just give you these little incentives to make you want to go for these higher rounds. And other things I've been thinking of, what if it actually had some sort of event happen in the map when you get to certain rounds, kind of like they did in Zetsubo no Shima? Because if you guys remember back to Zetsubo no Shima, once you got to, I think, round 50, you actually were able to see this monster walking outside of the map if you looked. But I mean, it was really underwhelming. But what if there was something like that? That would be just so cool. What if something in the map changes? What if a part of the map just starts to break off, or zombies start changing the map in some way? That would also be really cool. Or the one I like the most, what if once you get to certain rounds, you get these little boosters to help you get to the rounds after that? Because really, when you're going through these rounds, you're rather training in the same spot for hours and hours. Nothing's really changing. You're just using the same wonder weapons, same thing over and over again, or you're even camping using the same things over and over again. But what if once you got to certain rounds, like let's say that you got to round 70, then it gave you the storm bow from the Rise and the Rocket, or maybe round 80 it gives you some of the helmets that you got inside Revelations that just help you get to those further levels. It makes it easier and easier on you, because I mean, if you're doing it for so long, it's just going to feel like the same thing for 10 hours straight, and I really do not like that. And I just think it would be so good for the game, especially Black Ops 4, just to add more incentives for people to go for these higher rounds. And all the ideas I really said, just have them all inside that game. When you get to certain rounds, for the first time, it can give you big boosts of XP, or of course it continues giving you XP the times you get there after, but not the same amount. Then it could give you like special gobblegums just because you got to these higher rounds. It could change up the map, and you could see special events happen inside of the game, whether it relates to the story or not. Personally, I would want to relate to the story, like some special events, some special special thing happening when you get to this certain round. You could just have something happen, because that would really get me to go to the higher rounds. But regardless, it'd just be so cool to have some special thing happen on the map. And like I said, the last one that I mentioned was just that it just gave you more features to work with to get to these higher and higher rounds. It just help you out get to these higher rounds, like I said, the storm bow, or maybe the KT4, even though I don't really know who wants that. But you have some really good weapons that help you get there to those higher and higher levels, give you helmets, give you extra perks, give you just something more and more to make it easier, and just change up the gameplay with more and more, for it doesn't feel like you're doing the same thing for 10 hours straight. And that's really what I want to talk about here, because I really think they should change this up, because I think most people don't actually like going for high rounds. I used to, but again, I said that was the only reason I wanted to do that, was just to show that I can get to a higher round than everybody else I knew. But now it just doesn't matter anymore, because so many people could get to high rounds. So it's just, the incentive is just not there for me anymore. I don't think it's there for most people, and I think all of these features, at least half of them, really would make more people want to go for these high rounds and make them want to get better at zombies. I think it would just be so much better for zombies and high rounds, because I feel like high rounds is really dying in zombies lately. Easter eggs have absolutely destroyed that. Nobody even cares about, like, comparing Easter eggs to high rounds. It's not even a comparison at all. People love Easter eggs way more. But if there's something special that happens when you get to these higher rounds, it could really help the high round community and make them a little bit bigger. And especially for me, I know I would start going for higher rounds. But anyways, that's about it for me. Tell me what you guys think of all these ideas I talked about here. Do you think they're good ideas, bad ideas? And also leave your ideas down in the I always call it description. It's not the description, in the comments. But anyways, that's about it for me. If you guys did enjoy the video, go ahead, do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and especially bell. But I'm gonna go, and I will catch you guys on my next video.